From athletic activities to everyday wear, tennis skirts have become a symbol for femininity and comfort. Tennis skirts really isn't just for the court anymore, and it's just for everything now. Everyone is wearing a tennis skirt no matter where you go, and I think let's talk about it. Welcome, tennis fans, to the 56th episode of Tennis Traverse, Exploring the Game, the podcast that delves into the heart of the tennis world. I'm your host, Ivy Zhang, and in today's episode, I will be talking about tennis fashion, rise in the tennis skirts. And before we begin, I do want to say that this episode is sort of different from all of my other episodes, which are mainly focused on match recaps and match predictions, but because the US Open just ended and there really isn't that many important or gigantic tournaments going on, I figured that I want to cover the fashion side of tennis because during the US Open, Naomi Osaka came out with the Nike customized outfit and it was just brat plus coquette. And even though I am not a huge fashion person, I am interested in seeing how just tennis gains its popularity sort of through tennis skirts. And this is an article I wrote for a journalism camp I attended during June. So even though we're approaching the fall season, tennis skirts maybe isn't as in trend as it was before, but I still think a lot of people, for example, on our tennis team really like to wear a tennis skirt, and it is also part of our uniform, so it is just becoming a huge trend. And even though technically I wrote this article, I still think it's just a great idea for a podcast episode. So even though this will be on the shorter side, I think it's something that you guys will be interested in. And if you guys aren't, that's totally okay. You can skip out on this episode. We will be going back to our regular scheduled programming, which will be the tournaments that are happening after the US Open in next week's episode. But without further ado, let's just talk about tennis skirts are leaving the tennis courts, enter street fashion. I think everyone here knows about the movie Challengers. This is a movie about a love triangle with sort of like a tennis theme to it because the people are tennis players, and it stars the famous actress Zendaya, but personally, I did not watch the film because one of my best tennis friends, she told me that she watched it and she hated it just because of how tennis is portrayed. But I think due to Zendaya's popularity, it just sparked a whole trend in tennis fashion. So after Challengers premiered in April, Zendaya's collection with the Spanish fashion brand Low sparked social media's tennis court trend. From a Wimbledon green gown to white heels studded with yellow tennis balls, Zendaya's tennis-inspired outfits with Low became a fashion trend. With the brand's new success, Low became a sponsor for Met Gala this year, and the interest in tennis skirts surged by 71% from February to July, reaching peak interest in July according to Google Trends. So I got all of my data to July because this article was wrote around July, so I'm sorry if the data is a little bit outdated, but in my opinion, I think it is still going strong, especially with the US Open. I think the US Open is one of the best Grand Slam tournaments in terms of promoting love for tennis, just because of Fan Week where fans get to go in and just the whole sort of welcoming atmosphere, I would say. Because I watched Morgan Riddle's vlog and she talked about how, for example, in Wimbledon, you can hear a pin drop, but in the US Open, and I've personally experienced this, it's just a whole really welcoming atmosphere. Like, it's really loud and people are having conversations in the middle of the point. And even though this is technically not how tennis should be played, with like really noisy background noise, however, I think that, and also a change in the tournament, which is that the audience can go in even during the points if they're on the side, it really sort of just acted into like just more people coming in and participating in tennis tournaments. Not participating, sorry, but like watching tennis tournaments, and maybe after seeing how amazing the sport is, they would try to play it themselves. And that's where the tennis skirt comes in if they choose to sort of dress more feminine and lean to the fashion side of tennis. So here are some sources I interviewed, and here are some quotes that I pulled from them. Grace Caro, 17, wore a tennis skirt for the first time when golfing with her boyfriend. She soon started to wear them out of the golf course and in class. So you guys can see that not everyone wore a tennis skirt because they're interested in, for example, playing tennis. Like Grace, for example, she started wearing tennis skirts because it's just a really cute fashion statement. I have a friend who calls it microfeminism. Just like doing things that are girly while still being a badass, Caro said. And I think it just shows that tennis skirts are a big trend, and to be honest, everyone is wearing them, and I think it's really good for the tennis community. Shannon Blazik, who is more inside the tennis community, I would say, because she is actually a sales manager for Naperville Tennis Club, which is located in Chicago. Owning 20 tennis skirts herself, she also noticed an upward trend in tennis skirts at the equipment store. Blazik believed the trend was because of the public's interest in playing tennis rather than the outfits of celebrities, which was a theory I suspected from the beginning. I thought that because of the movie Challengers, a lot of people just wanted to follow the trend because of the famous actress Zendaya, but Blazik believed otherwise. So Blazik said that what increases the sale of tennis skirt is the pro tournaments. If an athlete is wearing a certain skirt at Wimbledon and someone's like, oh my god, I love that skirt, they will go and get it. And think this is just because she is part of the tennis community. I think when you're part of the whole tennis community, it's really easy to get into tennis. I think this is more suitable for the people who really are avid fans of tennis, but if you really aren't a tennis watcher at all, I think it's really hard to follow tennis and see a player who wore something that's really amazing. But I think if you are an avid watcher of tennis, for example, for me, when Naomi Osaka came out with her Nike designed outfit, even though it's completely customized to her, I still searched online for just tennis skirts with bows just as an inspiration for myself. So I think if you're really a tennis watcher, you would find inspirations from outfits that athletes wear. But if you're just an regular person who is maybe just interested in tennis, I think a lot of the inspo comes from famous celebrities such as Zendaya. Roseanne M. is the creator of the Tennis Lookbook, a 40.1 thousand tennis fashion account on Instagram. After several unsuccessful attempts at getting tennis-style inspiration from Instagram, she created the Tennis Lookbook. Fans could shop for outfit ideas by clicking on the Like to Know It, LTK, a platform where influencers can link products in her posts. So I actually discovered this tennis page because it's just a huge thing and it really has a lot of following, and as a tennis girly myself, I really want to look at just tennis skirts in general, and this was a great page for me because it went back to the history of tennis fashion, such as what Serena Williams wore back in her days, Maria Sharapova, and it still gave outfit ideas for people like me who are just playing tennis, who really can't wear what the famous athletes wore. And I think linking it to LTK, which is the platform, it's a really great opportunity for just people to buy exactly what the influencers are advertising. I think it's a really smart move, and I will be leaving the link to the Instagram page if you guys are interested in looking at the tennis outfit inspirations. So Roseanne M attributed the upward trend to more brands creating tennis wear. Athleisure brands such as Alo and Lululemon both design tennis collections. With a variety of styles and colors, customers are drawn to the names and options. Even loungewear brands such as Skims also have designed tennis skirts. And this is a really interesting thing in my opinion because, for example, when I think about tennis brands, clothing brands, I think about Nike, Adidas, Fila maybe, and Wilson. But you really don't think about such brands such as Lululemon or Alo, even Skims coming out with tennis skirts. But I think, for example, Skims is such a big thing right now. Everyone loves shapewear because of Skims. And for such a popular and on-trend brand right now to come out with stuff like the tennis skirts that's designed really well done, I think a lot of avid sort of consumers from Skims would love to purchase a tennis skirt, and so is Alo and Lululemon, and we can even put Aritzia into the conversation. I think a lot of these brands are obviously designing tennis skirts because it is on trend, but they're also using their popularity to just gain some attraction for the tennis skirts. You can only see 2 or 3 main brands before, so we don't really see variations, Roseanne M said. It tends to get boring, but now I see many brands come out with tennis-related clothing pieces. So the other side of this, I think, is a lot of the tennis skirts that the brands come out with really isn't good material or fabric to play tennis in. I think a lot of them call it the tennis skirt, but to be honest, they're just skirts that you wear out and it's not really athletic. But I will be covering the side of this later in terms of fabric and everything, but I just think that if you call it a tennis skirt, it should be at least made to play tennis. You shouldn't call it a tennis skirt and then, for example, if I were to buy a skirt that's called a tennis skirt, and when I received it, I realized that it really doesn't, for example, it doesn't have a short underneath, I can't play tennis in it, I will be really just annoyed because it isn't what I get and it isn't what they're advertised. Olivia Wood, 28, works at a food recycling company in San Francisco and plays tennis as her hobby. Beyond the tennis courts, she still chooses to wear a tennis skirt. The pockets are nice because most skirts don't usually have pockets. The tennis skirts do because the players have to put the tennis balls in, so I can use the pocket to put my phone in, Wynn said. So I think that's also a big part of why tennis skirts are so on trend right now. And not only tennis skirts, tennis dresses too. I think I've seen a lot of people wearing tennis dresses. So for example, maybe go on a run to run your daily errands. I think it's just really cute outfits to show some signs of femininity. And I mean, it is a really, I think, convenient feature with the pocket, because if you're going to go on a run, I think it's just easier to tuck your phone underneath your shorts. And yeah, so I want to move on. So, however, there's still some downsides to tennis skirts that I think are worth discussing, and I really hope you guys understand that I still am a huge avid supporter of tennis skirts. It's just that I kind of want to cover some of the side that really isn't as talked about. So despite the increase in choices, tennis skirts from main brands averages above $70. So in terms of main brands, my ideas are Wilson, Nike, Adidas. Wilson is a sporting goods company founded in 1913 and sponsors 28 active professional tennis players. Wilson's Midtown tennis skirt is one of the most popular choices, priced at $78. The skirt's fabric is 100% nylon. So that is just a great fabric, I think, for tennis skirts because of how just breathable it is, and I will cover the fabric later. So this fabric, as I said before, is breathable, flattering, and anti-odor according to the brand. And customers who really isn't able to afford these high-end sort of tennis skirts, they would resort to dupes, which are just sort of a similar style or similar look at it. So a similar style can be found on Amazon, priced at $29. However, there is one key difference. So the dupe on Amazon is made mostly with polyester. That fabric retains odor and is not as flexible. So that is what I'm talking about with just if you are trying to buy a skirt from Amazon as a tennis skirt, for example, if you don't really know the fabric and you're just buying it like an average consumer, hoping to play tennis in that, you'll soon realize that it's not really a breathable fabric, and it's just not a good fabric in general to be doing sports in. And I think that's just not a cool part. But again, I have to say that some people just simply can't afford buying a $78 tennis skirt. However, Blazek said that her Lulu skirt do last forever, and although Amazons are cute, there is a quality difference, and that quality, I think, is what I mentioned before with the fabric difference. And I think it is really up to the brands to sort of lower the price point, because it is just, to be honest, completely unaffordable. But if you guys do want to buy some high-end or just some more better quality tennis skirts, you can always get it at like Black Friday or sales. And I will be linking some skirts I found cute on Nike. And to be honest, as a tennis player myself, this is not from my script, but from my as a tennis player myself, I think just investing in high quality pieces from name brands is just worthwhile because of how often I wear them. But as I said, I play tennis competitively, at least in school, and I really don't like how the tennis skirt, like, I don't like to play in tennis skirts, to be completely honest. I think playing in tennis skirts just isn't as, like, I'm not able to move as freely as I am if I play just in shorts. But at the same time, I do get how cute they are, and I do have, I think, 3 skirts, 2 from Nike and 1 from Lulu. So I mean, they're really cute. So for wearing them out, however, according to Blazek, she thinks they're cute, easy, and flirty. And that sums up what I want to say about tennis skirts. I mean, it's just such a big thing right now, and even though we're going to the fall season, tennis skirts maybe will just slowly fall out. But I mean, I think it's still such a cute thing to wear out. And obviously, if you just really isn't a big fan of playing tennis but just want to get a cute tennis skirt, feel free to just get one from Amazon, because to be completely honest, they're gonna be worth the same, like they're gonna be much cheaper. And even though the quality isn't as great, you're not obviously like doing intense workouts in them. But if you are a tennis player, I suggest investing in high-end just tennis gears. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This one is on the shorter side compared to the other ones, but I had a blast filming this. It's really different, but to get opinions from other people is really cool too, and I really hope to do more episodes like these. Tell me if you guys are interested in hearing opinions from other people. And yeah, I think let's just do our outro first. So if you haven't followed all of my social medias, you should. That is Instagram and Twitter using @TennisTraverse. That is @TennisTraverse. If you're listening on YouTube, comment, like, and subscribe. If you're listening on other streaming platforms, please rate my show. And that is it for everyone. I hope next week we can go back to our regular scheduled programming. Tell me what you guys think of this episode. If you guys want it to be shorter, to be longer, whatever you guys want, just tell me. You guys can email me through my link tree. And I also want to mention that I have a newsletter you guys can subscribe to, and I also will be linking the products that I love as well as the social media page to the Tennis Lookbook in the description or show notes down below if you guys want to click on the link. And all the links are not affiliated, which means that I don't get a profit from you guys clicking on them. So it's truly just my opinions only if you guys are interested. And yeah, I hope we can talk about tennis more next week, to maybe talk about China Open, which is actually the first ever tennis tournament I attended in person, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys next week. See you guys next week. Bye.